Oh, go to the football?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yes, it's okay, no problem.
No problem.
Thank you.
These boys are wanting to go and see Manchester United. 4th of February, they must be playing. Nice morning today. We're going to try and show you how we harvest cabbage and what goes into it. We'll just show you throughout the year what we get up to. The boss, he's down below in the John Deere harvesting away. I just got this trailer unstrapped and used the 6480 there to unload the trailer and then just show the process that goes on. So had to take the trailer up, well, took the trailer up here, but don't normally load it up here as it's pretty wet, but it's quite frosty, so have enough time to get it unloaded, get it down to the bottom, and then start loading it up. Don't really want to load it up here, because by the time it's loaded, it'll be all defrosted and I'll struggle to get out, especially since I've no tires on her. So we want to just do a few videos just explaining and showing what we do throughout the year, because we're on a veg farm. We grow leeks, scallions, cabbage, parsley, celery, a bit of everything. But I don't think there's many people documenting what the veg or the vegetable farms really do. So I want to try and show, because we do a bit of everything. We do a bit of silage and stuff too. We help run a digester, so there's a lot of different range of stuff that we're always doing. And I just think people will be quite interested, because what we do on a daily basis is different every day. The winter time, we're just busy harvesting leeks, harvesting cabbage, cleaning cabbage, sorting out leeks. Just the usual, and then maybe a bit of maintenance and stuff if we got a bit of spare time, which at the moment we don't seem to be getting. But as soon as March time comes, we're going to be busy getting ground ready, start sowing stuff, planting stuff, and I think there's a good lot of different things we can show and explain throughout the year. It'll make every video different and hopefully teaches a few things. Like, I don't know much about the veg, it's my boss. He knows everything about it, but I'm just really a driver. But I've been working here 5 years now and I'm learning my way through stuff, but still I don't know much about the veg itself, but I know about the workings in and out of everything that we do. So my boss, he can hopefully show and explain in more detail about everything, and I can just show the general goings on of what we do. So get this trailer unloaded and then help him out. He's just harvesting down at the bottom at a wee rig. The cabbage aren't too good down there, it's a bit patchy, so it's a bit slower, but once he gets back onto the hill here, it should work a bit quicker. So I can just fire off these here boxes and then get going. I have a wee camera down in the bottom corner here, so I can see where the forks are on the loader, and it helps a lot with like not damaging boxes and stuff, because like 6480 is quite a big tractor for a loader, and once you got the loader on the ground, you can't really see where the forks are, so the camera definitely helps a lot. And I have a box tipper on here, not normal forks, so I can rotate the boxes left and right, and it's handy for loading in fields and stuff, and especially a lot of our fields, we don't really have flat ground over here, so a lot of our fields are on the hills, so the boxes could be lying all shapes, and you can use the box tipper to level it off, especially picking off the trailer. The trailer sits at a wee angle, and using the box tipper, it means if the tractor's sitting offset, you can still pick up the boxes without doing any damage. So no, it's a great job. So I'll get this offloaded and then start get the trailer moved and get loaded up again. So it's the 19th of January and we've just started harvesting in this field this morning. We're just down the Fortify Road here, beside Strangford Lough, and this is a variety called Stuart, which over the last couple of years has done really well for us from January until March. Holds really well over the winter. This year we've had probably as cold, both warm and cold. From the autumn time it was just really mild right into the middle of the autumn, and then that meant that crops kept growing on and we had a bit of disease pressure then. Normally you would, once it cools down sort of mid-November, you don't have the same disease pressure from then on, but this year has just been slightly different in that it was warm all through November with a bit of disease came into the cabbage and things like that, and even leeks as well. And then it just completely went on its head, and then before Christmas we obviously had that week or 10 days of -2, -3. Well, to be honest, the worst we got was like -3.5. We got off quite lightly compared to a lot of other places, so that has taken its toll on cabbage, which wouldn't be renowned for being frost hardy. Although, having said that, this Stuart variety is keeping really well for us so far. I'm very pleased with the quality of it there at the minute, given what it has been through. Size is lovely, you know, it's perfect for our job. These will all be going for processing to be made into coleslaw. So we had a bit of a frost last night, and like more of just like a ground frost, nothing major. Cabbage are still good to harvest, and the ground just tightened up nicely this morning. This corner would be a wee bit heavy ground, there'd be a bit of clay on it, you know, and I just thought we'd take the chance while the ground was tight to try and get it harvested off. So it's working well. Although it's starting to thaw now, it's coming on to 12 o'clock, and it's definitely starting to get a bit damper. We have Jack here today helping us in the loader, and we've got an Asa lift harvester here, and well, this is our first year with it. In fact, it's still sort of on demonstration from Grimmy, Ireland, and I think the salesman Cecil would know. He's happy to get demos out because generally the equipment's that good you can stand by it, and once you get used to it, you wouldn't think of going back to it. Well, in this job you wouldn't think of going back to cutting by hand, cutting with knives. With the 3 boys in the back, me driving, we can do as much in, I would say, 1 day as what, say, the 4 of us could do in 3 days. And nobody's really that hard work. The 3 boys in the back, they're only lifting the stuff and setting it in, they're happy enough, and they're not sore at the end of it, they're not tired, not too bad. Whereas you go cutting with a knife for a day, you maybe wouldn't want to do it 2 days in a row or 3 days in a row. It would be tough going there. Very physical job, hard in the back. You have the risk of working with knives all day. So if you do get tired throughout the day, it's just not great. So sort of thought this year with a bit more acreage in, and needed to automate the thing slightly. So looked at this harvester and we're a bit unsure about it, but Cecil thankfully agreed to bring it over from England. Actually, it was
it was on demonstration last year in England. So he agreed to bring it over and let us have a try at it, but that might not go too far after this. So it'll stay here. A few things I would have liked to change on it. Whenever we first got it, I'd sort of thought trying to make it fill the boxes automatically. At the time, the cabbage were very clean. You were just putting every single one into the box. And you sort of thought of the three boys in the back, like all they're doing is lifting and setting. It would be nice to have move the box on the left-hand side of the harvester somewhere and have the conveyor going straight into it. That you wouldn't actually need anybody on it at all. But as the season came on, we got that bit of a disease problem in one of the fields, and it sort of became apparent that it's actually quite good to have the three boys in the back. They can do a bit of quality control. Any that are too bad or a bit of too much disease on them or whatever, they can just let them go past them and fall back onto the ground, and they're incorporated back in. There's no point in bringing those home really. So it's been good. It's been a good demo to try it and see. Whereas they do make one with a conveyor on it that you can, side fill into another tractor beside you, pulling a trailer of boxes. But as you can see today in this field, it's steep. Ground conditions are quite good, but even still, I think you'd be making a big mess if you're trying to keep a tractor and trailer beside you. So yeah, all in all, we're well pleased with the machine. It's tight fit around this tractor. With the tracks are quite wide in the back, and then obviously it has to sort of wrap around, and there's literally no more than an inch of clearance between the harvester and the track. And there's a couple of hydraulic pipes that run down in that side of the harvester, like sort of right beside the track, and I would say we'll move them to somewhere a bit safer, because through time I would say even if the track's not touching them, the muck will sort of rub through them, This here with the net conveyor over the top works well. So you have your two torpedoes at the front, sort of guide the cabbage in to straighten them up, guide the cabbage into the front of the harvester. Then there's two belts that grab the stem, and they'll squeeze the stem quite tightly and then bring it towards the cutting blades. And there's a couple of height adjusters in there that you can decide how much or how little of the butt you're taking off the cabbage. Ideally, you want to leave just the slightest wee butt. You don't want to bring home more waste leaves than you need to. But on the other hand, if you cut that up into the cabbage, you have to retrim that to clean that before it goes away. So that's just, you're losing weight then. And also, if you get a nice clean cut in that, they'll store much nicer in the boxes. So yeah, the blades cut the stem off, and then they go on to just another conveyor. It brings them up onto this table, all the while the net conveyor over the top is just holding them in place and ensuring that they keep moving forward. These cabbage were planted in May last year, so they've grown the whole summer, and whenever it cools down in the autumn time, although this year they kept growing right into October, to be honest, because it was so mild in the autumn, and even into November they were still, every time you come into the field you sort of thought, flip, they're bigger again. So yeah, they grow right through to the late autumn, and then they, once it cools down, they sort of sit sort of dormant over the winter. And you hope that there's not too hard a frost or too much weather on them, because they're not overly frost hardy. But hopefully we'll be able to show you throughout this year the planting process and ploughing and making ground ready and all the rest of it, and see what goes into it. Yeah?
I say your father,
4th of February? What?
We go football.
Go home?
No, go football. Manchester.
Oh, go to the football?
Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yes, it's okay, no problem.
No problem.
Thank you.
These boys are wanting to go and see Manchester United. 4th of February they must be playing. This is the first year these 3 boys, there's 4 of them actually. The 2 friends came, they enjoyed it, and they invited 2 other friends. So these boys are from Kazakhstan, believe it or not. Great workers, nice and mannerly, and always willing to help. So yeah, it's been since Christmas, even well before Christmas really. There was that cold snap of weather, and then it became very wet, very wet. And you know, without this tractor with tracks in it, I really don't think we'd still be able to be fulfilling the orders. We couldn't keep up cutting by hand unless with an army of people, which, you know, as everybody knows, it's just, you can't just, labour's a hard thing to get at the moment. You can't just find that. So the harvester's really been a bit of a lifesaver this year, and the tractor to go with it has, the two together have really made the job much better, to be honest. The orders have been very strong right throughout the winter months, and working with supermarkets and processing customers who have supermarkets as their clients, you can't just ring up and say, look, it's too wet today, send all the boys home, we'll get you something next week or something like that when it dries up. You can't do that. If you do that, you know, they're obviously not gonna want to work with you for too long. So consistency of supply is probably one of the biggest things. If you ask any of our customers what's important to them, is quality and consistency of supply. So having the likes of this tractor with tracks, the harvester, even the cold stores at home that allow us to get ahead. Like if we know there's a lot of bad weather coming like that, we can harvest ahead of ourselves and keep produce fresh for longer. And that makes a big difference in terms of that consistency of supply.